Hello, my precious cinnamon rolls. My name is Phoephoe, and I'm here back again playing Loren, the Amazon princess. And previously, we saved Karen from killing herself. A very sad situation. But we got to chat to everybody, I think. Dora says, another shooter. Eleanor says, Dora says, that new elf, he shoots a bow, too. Eleanor says, a crossbow, I believe. Dora says, yeah, it's still all about accuracy, though I know bows totally more different than his fancy machine. Eleanor says, I wonder, he'd probably disagree. Dora says, of course he disagrees, he thinks he's best at everything, but I'll show him I've totally a better shot. Friendly. Eleanor says, I think he'd love a legitimate competition, he's trying to find him in everything anyway. Dora says, and it's about time he lost. Dora stretched her bowstring with a devious smile. I like Dora. Says, oh, hi again. Nothing to talk to her about. Draco. There's nothing new with me. Not to talk to him. Let's talk to Tom and Kiki. He, again, is a romance option. Eleanor walked up to the hulking gladiator, standing guard by himself on the outskirts of camp. Once again, I'm recording with my windows open because of the heat. So you can probably hear traffic in the background. I apologise for that. Standing by himself on the outskirts of the camp. Kiki moved his hand towards the hilt of his sword as she approached. Kiki said, it is my turn to guard the camp. Eleanor says, I am not familiar with Empire's customs. You have made an oath involving my mistress, so I want to know what it means. The warrior was quiet for a moment. Kiki says, the oath I have made is not an Empire custom. It is a part of my heritage, which makes it much stronger. Eleanor says, what is your heritage, if not the Empire? Kiki says, I am from the nomads of the south. I have lived within the Empire, and that is all. Eleanor says, you defend the Empire as if it were important to you. Kiki says, I have sworn an oath to my nation as well. Eleanor replies, and if your oath to your nation conflicts with your oath to Loren? He did not speak for a moment, was completely still. Kiki says, I will not harm the wielder of the hawk blade. Friendly. Eleanor says, we are placing a lot of trust in those words, sir. I will not hesitate to fight you if you break them. Kiki says, I do not break my oaths. Eleanor says, but you make several of them, so it's possible that they could conflict. Kiki replies, if that were ever the case, I would take my own life. Eleanor says, I hope that is not necessary. Kiki says, now you see, I do not make oaths I cannot keep. He's a very serious character, as you can see. Eleanor says, as for your oath itself, it's completely unnecessary. I am the Swamp Protector of Loren. You are simply redundant. If you have a ritual that retracts an oath, you perform it now. She's a bit possessive about this whole thing, isn't she? Kiki says, I will not. Eleanor says, why not? Why must you be sworn by oath to protect someone? Are you afraid that if you were not forbidden to kill her, that you would? Kiki turns razor sharp as he stared Eleanor straight in the eyes. Eleanor says, you were jealous of her. I saw how you looked when a sword glowed for her and not for you. How are we to know that you will not just kill Loren in hopes the swords will recognise you instead? Kiki says, that will not happen, and you do not know me to say that it might. Eleanor says, exactly, we don't know you, so even more dangerous to have around. Kiki says, I am sorry to say that my oath makes my presence very permanent. Eleanor ground her teeth while staring down the warrior. I should remind you that Amazons detest men. If Loren tolerates you, it is only barely so. Kiki says, Loren may not wish to mate with me, but I know she knows I have a use, just like you. Even the Amazons cannot reject men entirely in their society. Eleanor says, as slaves, you mean? Kiki says, they keep men for labour because they know they are stronger. Whoa! I kind of don't want to pick the romance option after he said that, but I'm going to anyway. I want to smack him, personally. Eleanor says, I've personally lived with the Amazons, I know that is not the case. Men are appreciative of their aesthetic value, too. Their slaves assigned to the royal court are always the best looking, if not just the strongest. And understandably so. Kiki said nothing, but his eyebrows raised. Eleanor immediately felt embarrassed and looked away. Kiki not disgusted, just surprised. But she considered his sexuality too intimate for casual discussion. Whoop! Got one heart there. Let's see if we've got anything to talk about again. Eleanor says, that old man said you're a gladiator. What does that mean? Kiki says, it means exactly what it sounds like. I've fought in many combative tournaments for honour and glory. I battled men, elves, wizards, and won. I train every waking moment and take every challenge presented to me, and this is how I become the man I am today. There is no tournament of arms that I have not won, so I was named Gwynwar's greatest warrior. Eleanor says, which explains why you had high hopes for the hawk blade. Kiki says, yes, I know I'm stronger than your Amazon's mistress, but I still cannot gain the sword's favour. Eleanor says, careful what you say. You may have more physical strength than Loren, but you will never be stronger-willed. Perhaps you must understand what it truly means to be great. Their eyes were on fire as they glared at each other. Yeah, their kind of romance arc, I think, is a bit kind of antagonist with benefits or something. Eleanor says, your rival... Eleanor said, you said that your purpose in life was the Hawkblade. Why did you live your life for a weapon? Kiki says, the Hawkblade is not just a weapon, it's a holy relic that turns the wielder into a divine hand of justice. To become the voice of gods is more important more than enough to devote one's life to. Eleanor says, so all those tournaments you fought and won, you didn't do them for fun, but to become worthy of the sword. Kiki says, yes, not in the beginning, but after my first tournament. The archers had told me that I have potential of becoming a beacon for mankind. I was honoured. Your mistress does not know the gift of being chosen. Eleanor detected the bitterness in his voice. On one hand, it was understandable to be upset that your lifetime goal was usurped by someone who was unfazed by it, but on the other hand, he had no right to think ill of Loren. Eleanor says, it doesn't matter in the end, because the gods have chosen her, and not you. It has absolutely nothing to do with strength or how many tournaments you won. The gods need someone who will do the right thing. I believe the princess is such a person. Makiki says, we'll see. Talking to him? Has he got anything else to say? Eleanor says, you are sent from a group of people called nomads. Makiki says, the south. Yeah. Eleanor says, yes, who are they? What they like? Aren't they like the Empire? And Makiki says, no, the people of the Empire live in houses and buy their food from vendors. The nomads live under the stars and hunt for their food. Eleanor says, you're barbarians? And Makiki says, our culture is different, not less. That term is not welcome to us. Eleanor said, I never thought that the term was offensive, I'm sorry. Though it is interesting how you're quick to judge other cultures just the same, like the elves, for instance. And Makiki was silent for a long time, refusing to comment. You know I'm right. And Makiki says, are you interested in the nomads or insulting me? Eleanor says, I'm sorry, please tell me about your culture. And Makiki says nothing. Right, we're done with him. What's he got? Ramas. Rex is getting restless. Yeah. Loren says, we should break camp. Yeah, nothing to talk about. Karen says, Eleanor asks, may I ask a question? Eleanor says, yes, go on. You announced that you would give the crown to Loren very soon, and Karen says, it was a decision I came to almost as soon as Loren rescued it. I only grew more sure of my decision as soon as I saw Loren's maturity in battle. Eleanor says, but you're still so young. Loren saved your life so you could return to your throne. Karen says, Loren never should have saved me. But she did, and now the Amazons have a weakling for a queen. It's my duty to keep their interests. The Amazons need the Loren of their queen, not me. Eleanor says, you are not weak. I've seen you fight, and you are very strong. Eleanor says, my weakness lies within me, and that is the worst kind of all. Friendly. Eleanor says, whatever you think is weakness, such as the fibres of every being, is not a flaw worth condemning your whole life over. Our flaws are what separate us from the gods and make us all equal. Eleanor says, the Amazons do not have gods, we have great mothers. They are past queens. Eleanor felt the stomach clench. Karen sighed and looked away. Eleanor says, I am sorry. Means I need to burst. Nothing to say. Dr. Ray. Eleanor says, how exactly do you know Elder Druid Mirth? Elder Druid, right. Our mother was an Elder Druid. Mirth, maybe with time. Eleanor says, so we're siblings, but Ray says, I have beautiful blonde hair and she does not. I'm glad you noticed. No, I am not really the son of a druid. I'm not sure I want to be either. Here in the forest as they do, it seems more like a burden than anything else. And asks, how did you come under Merv's mother's care? Ray gnashed his teeth while thinking about it. I'm told the Dark Elves murdered my parents and left me as a babe on the forest floor. Eleanor says, that's... Ray says, all kinds of evil, that's why the Dark Elves are evil. Friendly. Only demons are evil in this world. You can't pass judgment on all Dark Elves so easily. Ray says, yes I can. They are part demon. If nothing else, I believe I'm entitled to some prejudice in this matter, don't you think? Eleanor says, no I don't. Ray pursed his lips and studied Eleanor in silence. Ray says, never mind, you needn't look so harsh. You might develop wrinkles scowling so much. She glared harder. Ray says, have I told you of my exploits in Havoc Cavern? Eleanor says, bandits, a slew of them, strung up my thieving feet. I think that means they should be strung up by their thieving feet, and Horus when I was done with them. You would not believe how easy it was for me to outsmart them. Eleanor sighed heavily. I have quite the reputation in Horus, actually. The mayor's wife took quite an interest in me after saving her from the highwaymen, and in particular she appreciated how I was able to recover her prize steed. It was simply in my considerate nature to track the beast down, of course, but she was very sure to thank me. Eleanor says, you're disgusting. Ray says, does that one story burn your ears? I haven't even breached it from the numerous escapades I've enjoyed in the company of the forest nymphs. Have you ever met a nymph, Eleanor? They're mischievous creatures to be sure, but I could more than handle them. Ray leaned uncomfortably close towards her. They were always quite satisfied. I'm going to pick the romance option. Please, you don't need to try so hard. He slowly straightened his back again. Well then, perhaps you should make it easy for me. Easier for what? His lips twitched, but he didn't reply. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be curt. It just seems like... I'm not sure. Maybe you should tell your sorries to someone else from now on. I see, if that's what you feel, then. Eleanor says, I'm tired and like some rest now, if you don't mean. Stephen paused and then bowed abruptly to bid her a good night, but there was a conflicted expression on his face. Turned and walked away, but he stopped once as if he was debating to speak with her once again. He eventually left her completely just as he'd act. So basically, you guys romanticize interest by telling him that he's creepy. I'm not sure that works too well. Okay. Oh, Karen's got 2 hearts. Ray's got, well, almost 2. Ron and Amakiki. We haven't got all our romance options yet. We haven't started the romance with Loren anyway. We can't romance Draco because he's a gay man and we're playing a lady. And we haven't got the rest of the party members yet. I can't romance Mirth either because she's heterosexual. I think we talked to Ray again. I don't know if we've got anything else. It says, you're the assassin in charge of Misfit. Ray glowered just from hearing his name. Yes, he was my kill. I was to take him down. Well, I seems fed up with him. Why did you take so long? He says, plenty of reasons. For one, I'm not a sloppy shooter. I'm meticulous and I'm smart. I don't just charge off into dark elves out of the village asking for him, as apparently you did. Secondly, Misfit is not normal. He has super speed and natural senses, so I had to relearn everything I've known about the chase. And there is a lot of chasing. He flees at the slightest hint that I am near. Then there is the meta that he is always surrounded by his followers. My best options are assassination from cover, and there isn't much of that in the desert. When he does enter the forest, he is too quick for me to respond and catch him. Really has been by far my most difficult prey. Well, says, I see. I'm sorry I doubted you. Apology accepted. Has he got anything else to say? And says, so you're an assassin? He says, almost exclusively. Why did you become one? He says, it was how I preferred to make my living. Why does anyone choose any occupation? And says, don't you feel remorseful for taking lives? He says, should I if I was massacring innocents? Yes, but I hunt prey that deserve to be hunted. I was a mystery in the beginning. I found my frills that way, but it gets a bit stagnant after a while. The job has mostly entailed walking very long distances. That's when I decided being an escort was not as much fun as I thought it would be. And bounty hunting was... So far, so good. It's a bit more fun when you know you're excellent at it. Friendly. Eleanor asks, what does Mirth think of your occupation? He says, she's the one who's encouraged it, and now she won't stop nagging me about it. She said I should help protect the forest, but she can't stand to hear about my assassinations. Alan says, maybe she doesn't want to know the gory details. Ray says, those are the best parts. He says, it's rather boring when I haven't killed anyone. Right, we're done with them. Right, leave. Go to the world map. Save the game. We should go to Grimoire, I think. The party used their medallion to pass the new security posts in the heavy guarded city of Grimoire. We now presented the medallion to the gate guards. They had to detain the elves of the party before letting Loren and the others through. To this dismay, the elves were asked to wait with the guard until Loren's return. But Eleanor felt detached from her mistress almost immediately after she disappeared into Grimoire. In the beginning, she was just a slave, and now she felt like she was truly a player in this conflict. And to be stuck in the outskirts of it all bothered her immensely. She stood with Draco and Ray at a crude cell they were locked into by the guards. I always forget that Draco is half elf. He hides his ears, so... Draco says, I'm getting used to captivity. It's not that hard after so many times. Alan says, we should not be here. That medallion that the old wizard gave us should have allowed for our passage. And Loren, she just let them lock me away. Ray says, that coin would have been worthless to a grieving family member seeking revenge on any elf they saw. Your mistress is keeping you here for your own safety. Ella says, I'm her second in command. I should be at her side. A heavy clunking sound came from the cell door by Ray. He stepped aside and pushed it over. Well then, go to her. Ella says, how did you... Draco says he may not be a wizard, but this elf is magic. Ella says, I'll say. Ray smirked with pride and opened the door for Eleanor like a gentleman. With Ray's guidance, they were able to easily sneak out of the crude dungeon and into Grimoire. They thought to check the wizard's tower first for Parliament's show. When they got there, Draco and Eleanor were upset to see the entrance so heavily guarded. This didn't faze Ray, who quickly started scaling the stone walls. Never mind, Draco says, he's just insane. Ray says, shh, follow me if you want to get inside, or pout out here since you like doing that. Draco says, climb along, sneak around inside like some robber. Well, no thanks, we're just browning. Draco says, Eleanor? Eleanor had already started getting a foothold in the stone climb after Ray. Draco puffed out his cheeks in defiance. He says, if I weren't wearing a robe, I'd climb up there and bonk you two in the head. Eleanor says, just keep quiet, I'll be back for you soon. Draco says, that sounds familiar. Oh, that's what Loren said when you said you freaked out and now you're sneaking into the Grand Wizard's tower. Ray and Eleanor climbed higher and slipped in through a window, and inside they took to the rafters and looked for Parliamentar's room. Eleanor struggled to keep up with Ray as he skillfully navigated in the dark and on narrow beams. Several times he had to stop and wait for her to catch up. But he did so with a hint of a smile, as if he were leaving her behind on purpose. Eleanor made sure to scold him for moving too quickly. He held a finger up to her lips to silence her, which insulted her, but then he pointed at the room below. There she saw Loren and the rest of the party already speaking of Parliamentar. Parliamentar says, not well, I'm afraid. As I expected, they refused to acknowledge that the elves may not have attacked first. I says, do I need to speak to the council myself? Parliamentar says, the council's a lost cause. It's full of dying, greedy politicians who are only interested in their own personal glory, rather than the actual good of the nation. Karen says, you sound a bit bitter. You're not a councilman too. The Parliamentarian says, I was a council member as the Archwizard. I am no longer. He says, why? What happened? He says, I was discharged from the council not too long ago. I'm lucky not to be shackled in a dungeon as well. Any implication that the council is mistaken is considered treason, however true. He says, well, I can't say that doesn't sound right for the Empire. They just tossed you out on your bum if you so much as look at them funny. Parliamentarian says, I've said it before and I've said it again, vigilance is the only way to survive in today's dark times. They've stripped me of my title to keep their ranks loyal. Unfortunately, they've made, excuse me, a grave misstatement. Oh, it was hay fever, that one. Emma says, they disown you, yeah, and that's all you got to say. They were just being vigilant. Emma says, so how do we get to the Empire on our side, if not through the Council? Parliamentarian says, we must appeal to the army generals themselves. There are two major figures in the Empire's military that, if swayed to our cause, could easily unite all of the soldiers under our banner as well. Loren says, who are they? Where will we find them? Parliamentarian says, General Astron and General Samael are who we should seek. Sir Astron is the lowest ranking general, so we should approach him first. Loren says, fine, where is he now? Parliamentarian says, that is difficult to say. Since I'm no longer a man of power here in Grandma, I do not have access to that information. I can say that Lord Astron and fought forced together in the Old War. He was very young, but there was one thing that was clear about him, is that he was full of ideals. He was a passionate man who believed deeply in justice about what was right. Without him, we might not have defeated the demons. I know that if we show him that the elves are not his enemy, he will not lead a war against them. That is fact. New quest. Loren says, show him that the elves are not his enemy. How will we do that? He says, we'll stop shooting once the Empire does. He suddenly leapt down for the rafters and landed softly on the floor below. Eleanor clutched a nearby pillar as the wood under her shook. I can't believe he just left me up here. I'll cut the entrance, elf, Parliamentarian says. Therein lies the dilemma. We have to think of something. We have no more time to waste, Loren replied. He filed out of the room, even Ray. Eleanor looked for a way down for the rafters and then tried to dangle down to lessen the drop. A voice startled her, however. Karen says, would you like me to catch you? Eleanor says, Queen Karen? It looks like a long fall otherwise. Eleanor says, no. Eleanor would not dare impose on the Queen for her own incompetence, but her grip slipped, and she grasped as she fell from the ceiling straight towards the floor. The fall did not hurt much, in fact it felt warm and secure. She was caught by Karen. Karen says, you're very light for an elf. Eleanor shivered under Karen's touch and unyielding eyes. Her strong arms and arms wrapped around the elf's side of the body as she was tucked tightly against her chest. I'm so sorry, Eleanor said. She was so embarrassed. Eleanor had to twist from Karen's arms to ground herself. I needed to be part of this. I didn't mean to. The noble Amazon softly smirked at Eleanor's bumbling apology. Karen says, I understand. She turned and left without anything more. Eleanor finally regained her senses and hurried after her to rejoin Loren. Grandma? So let's head up. We've only got two people in because we were doing a challenge, so... Alright, Eleanor, Loren... we need a mage. Let's have a Parliamentarian for a while. Another warrior. So we should have two of each class, so... Draco and... Let's have Ray. So this is grinding for fame, basically. I think we've got about time to do a little bit of that. We only have one tier of his spells so far, so... only damage one person, whereas Draco's do splash damage. So that gets us one fame, which gives us a shop discount, not that we really need it. 2 versus 2. Let's see, I want Draco and Loren, I think, for that. Not sure we can do this at this level, but we'll have a go. Good, 33. Nope, that did not work. Never mind. Citadel. I don't think there's anything to do with that right now, is that? No. Let's go to Grand Tree. The body was able to enter the forest and was escorted to the elven forest capital after showing them Murph's glowing flower. Even The human party members wore heavy robes to disguise themselves just in case. By the grand tree they sought for the elder druid. Mirth quickly appeared for them with a heavy look. "I am so glad you have come. I have unfortunate news." Loren says, "Please don't say what I think you're about to say. The elders, they will not listen to reason. I've exhausted all my resources, all of my magic, and every ounce of persuasion in me, but they still refuse to believe that the humans did not start this war." And the parliamentary says, "Then our nations are not dissimilar. The council refused to believe me as well, even though I was once the most trusted man in their company." And Makiki says, "They wish to see the human race extinct so badly." Mirth says, "I hardly think that is a fair statement, given how the Empire has made several actual movements to clear the world of elves." Mirth says, "Calm yourselves, do not forget that our goal is peace between you two races." And Makiki says, "I apologise. The truth of the matter is that the elders cannot believe that the demons would instigate the war. They believe they are not capable of such a plan, as the only time in history they were ever clever enough was under the rule of force." Parliamentary says, "My plan exactly. They are never organised, but the one demon superior enough to do the impossible is Force himself. There are too many connections to ignore." Mirth says, "I've told them the theory that Force has returned, but they refuse to believe that too." Mirth says, "Why the blast not?" Mirth says, "Because of the manner that Force was originally defeated. He is possessed of armour, and when he was first defeated in the old war, his armour was entombed and sealed permanently." Loren says, "Is it possible the seals have failed?" Parliamentary says, "Only the greatest wisdom would have magic capable of reversing that magic." We know that Force is back because we've already seen him in cutscenes and stuff. Mirth says, "The seals are made by man. Only gods have perfection in what they do." Loren says, "We need your people to end this war and make a treaty with the Empire. What will it take?" It says, "The elders are not fools and will see the reason in time. They're frightened at the moment, so I believe if we show them solid proof that Force is risen again, then they will reconsider this war." It says, "All we have to do is prove that Force is alive without a doubt." New quest? Jack says, "But these old guys made sure that wouldn't ever happen, didn't they?" Parliamentary says, "Yes, I was there as part of the team that brought him down. You must know, however, that his armour is indestructible. The only way to keep him from being reanimated is to keep the pieces of the suit far away from each other." Loren says, "That is all the security the world has been afforded? Just keeping the parts separate? Is there no great wonder that he happens to walk again?" Parliamentary says, "Mind you, we used everything in our power to make sure the pieces were sealed away permanently." Parliamentary was silent for a long moment, unable to admit that his magic might have failed. "Thought is the greatest demon than we could have imagined. He is capable of tricking all of us, it seems. I do not know how else to bring him down, but at least our previous method worked for some time. You must admit that the world have been free of Force of existence for a while, thanks to the Archwizard." Kiki. Mirth says, "We cannot deny the service that our parliamentary and his team has given us, but they are due quite a bit of respect. But the matter is now how we prove to the Forest Elders that he's alive again." Parliamentary says, "That's an idea. We can go to one of the tombs where pieces of his armour is kept and see if it's missing." Loren says, "The Elder's going to come with us all the way now?" Ray says, "That is not necessary. Mirth can just use her power of farsight to share her eyes with the Elders." Mirth says, "Yes, I do have the ability to let them see what I see. That is the best idea we have at the moment, so I think we should go through with it." Loren says, "Well, very well, if this is the only way to convince your elven leaders to stop this war, then we'll rely on the parliamentary to show us where Force armour should be." Parliamentary says, "In interest in stopping the bloodshed, I will not object. Pieces of Force are entombed in the mountains, so we need to find one of them." Mirth says, "I'm sorry, Archwizard, but I can tell you right now that 1-2 will not be enough to convince the Elders otherwise." Parliamentary narrowed his eyes and gripped his staff tighter. "If you wish to travel to many of his tombs if necessary, I pray your elves regain their sense as quickly as there are more important matters." Mirth says, "I will work only as a vessel. It's not up to me to decide, so you needn't look at me that way." Loren says, "Let's find these tombs before this war destroys us all. Left the forest to search the mountains, so we're not sure what they hope to find. Force remains, proving that he was not alive and that the world did not need to fear him, or nothing, proving that he was alive and the current war should end. Neither would be the end of all threats." So that's going to be the end of this episode. Hi, this is Phoephoe. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, and if you really liked it, please subscribe.